Hello there and welcome to the series of videos going through the content of A-Level Maths. Here we're looking at an introduction to partial fractions so we can answer questions from exercise 1D. So, what I mean by partial fractions first of all is splitting up a big fraction like we've got here into the sum of smaller fractions. So for example here we could prove that 2 over x plus 3 minus 1 over 1x plus 1 is equal to this thing here, and this here is splitting my fraction into partial fractions, okay? They are split up into the sum of smaller fractions, okay? So that means that if we take any fraction with two factors on the bottom, then we can always split them up into some value over x minus 3, the one in the first brackets, add b over x plus 2, the second bracket here. So we can always split them up. One fraction will have one of the factors, the other fraction will have the other factor. So this is what I mean by splitting them up into partial fractions. And what we're going to do now is we're going to see a technique that will help us calculate these values of a and b up here. So that we can show that maybe a might be 2 and b might be 1, but probably not. But in this case here, this is what I mean by splitting our fractions into partial fractions, splitting them into parts, okay, smaller parts, okay. So in this case here, what we've got is the question of 6x minus 2 over x minus 3, x plus 1, and we'd like to split this into partial fractions. So with any fraction, we can split it up into two separate parts, one with one factor on the denominator and one with the other factor on the other denominator. So in this case here, we can split this up into a over x minus 3, add b over x plus 1. Now what we want to do ideally is just combine them back together to start with, and then compare our numerator with 6x minus 2. So let's have a look at moving these back together. So times the left hand one by x plus 1 and the right hand one by x minus 3. And add them back together, and this is what we get. Now all of these lines of algebra here are equivalent. So what we can therefore say is that this expression here that I've put in the red box must be identical to this expression here that I've also put in a red box. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make an equation of 6x minus 2 equal a brackets x plus 1 plus b brackets x minus 3. And we need to work out the values of a and b. Now there's a bit of a sneaky way of doing this. What we're going to do is we're going to substitute in sneaky values of x such that it will make one of the brackets equal 0. In this case we're using x minus 1, so that will make this bracket here equal 0, and we'll just be left with b times something, because the a will disappear because it's multiplying by a 0. But we need to substitute in minus 1 in every x value in this equation here. So substituting it in across the board, we get minus 8 on the left, we get 0 in this bracket here, so the a effectively disappears, and if we put minus 1 in here, minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, times by b, we get minus 4b. So in that case, we get b is equal to 2. So a very sneaky way of doing this. The next value of x that we'd have to use here would make this bracket equal 0. And I think here for the value x equals 3, this bracket will be equal to 0. So the next equation, or the next input I'm going to use, is x equals 3. And you have to substitute in 3 across the board for all of the different x values. So 3 here will give me 18, 18 minus 2 is 16, 3 plus 1 is 4, so that will be equals 4 times a, and then the 3 here will give me 0. So dividing by 4 here we get a is equal to 4. And now we have our answer, and now all that's left for us to do is write out that answer. So therefore, going back to the original answer that we set up, a was the value that was over x minus 3, so make sure you put 4 over the x minus 3, and b was the term that was over x plus 1, so make sure you put the 2 over x plus 1. Now this here is your final answer. Now what a lot of students do is they get to working out A and B and stop there. You haven't actually wrote out what this fraction is as partial fractions yet. Make sure that you do carry on and write out your final answer just to summarise the question. Okay, so this fraction here can be split up into its parts by this term here and this term here. Now we're going to use this a lot later on. We're going to use it in integration and we're going to use it in the binomial expansion as well. So make sure you're good at it now because it will reappear later in the course. Okay, slightly more difficult one now. 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 over 3 fractions now. X minus 1, 2x plus 1. So what we can do with any fraction with 3 terms on the bottom is split them obviously into 3 partial fractions. So in this case it's going to be a over x plus b over x minus 1 plus c over 2x plus 1. Okay. Now in this case here, what we're going to do is want to put all of these fractions back together. So on the denominator of the a term we need x minus 1 and 2x plus 1. On the b term, we need an x and a 2x plus 1. On the c term, we need an x and an x minus 1. Okay, let's put all of these back together by adding the fractions together. So effectively what we've got now are 2 equivalent fractions in this part here and this big long part here. So these 2 expressions here must be equivalent. So 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 must equal this big long expression here. Okay. So we've split them up into partial fractions, put them back together again, and it must be the case that this combined fraction here and this combined fraction here are equivalent. So therefore the numerators must be equivalent. And now is the opportunity to put in sneaky values of x to get these brackets to disappear. I think what we'll do is we'll start off by substituting in x equals 1. So that would get rid of this fraction, this bracket here, and also this bracket here at the end. So the only thing that will actually be left is the b term, which is great. So substituting in x in every position across the board, we're going to get 9. Equals, the first term will simplify to 0 because we have a 1 minus 1 term. The last term will simplify to 1 minus 1, which is 0, so there's nothing to do with c involved. And in the middle case here, we're going to have 1 times 2 times 1 plus 1, that's 1 times 3, that's 3 times b. So therefore b is obviously equal to 3. Now what other sneaky values of x can I put in? Well, what about x equals 0? Because in this case it will make this term here and this term here both equal 0. So if you've ever just got an x on its own without a plus or a minus something, it's 0 that's your sneaky value of x to use. And now let's substitute it in across the board. So minus 2 is going to equal minus a. So how do we get this? Well, it's just going to be 0 minus 1, that's minus 1. Times by 0 plus 1, so that's plus 1, minus 1 times 1 is minus 1, times the a, and we get minus a. So in this case here, 2 is equal to a. Now for the 2x plus 1, what value of x will make this bracket equal 0? And in this case, it's going to be x equals minus a half, and you may want to use your calculator for this section here. Substituting in x equals minus a half across the board on all 4 terms, we're going to get minus 3 equals 0.75c. So doing minus 3 divided by 0.75, we get minus 4. So minus 4 is our value for c. So all that's left for us to do now is go back to the original partial fraction that we split it up into and substitute in the values of a, b and c. So a went on the top of x, b went on the top of x minus 1, and c minus 4 went on the top of 2x plus 1. So how would you write your final answer? You'd write it just like this. 2 over x plus 3 over x minus 1 minus, because c is a negative value, 4 over 2x plus 1. Okay, so that is the basics there of how you split up into partial fractions. Okay, your turn to have a go at these two questions here then. Pause the video and try these two out. Alright then, let's have a go at the second one here then. So what we need to do first, first one here, so we split this up into partial fractions first. So it's going to be a over x minus 2, add b over x plus 3. Combine these fractions back together again, and if we times the first one by x plus 3 on the top and the bottom, and do this x minus 2 onto the second fraction, and add them together again, then what we're going to get is an expression which is 6x minus 2 is equal to a brackets x plus 3 plus b bracket x minus 2. Yes, you are writing out a lot here, but do get used to it. Stop moaning. Okay. Alright, so let's substitute in sneaky values of x now. So in this case here, let's start with x equals minus 3. Substituting in minus 3, we'll get rid of that a bracket here, so let's carry on. We're going to have minus 3 times 6 is minus 18, minus 2 is minus 20. And if we put in minus 3 at the end, we're going to get minus 5b. So b here is equal to 4. And in the second case here, what do we need to do to make the b bracket equal 0? Let's substitute in x equals 2. So substituting in x equals 2 across the board, we get 12 minus 2 is 10, equals 5a. So in this case here, a is equal to 2. So therefore, our final answer here is going to be a, which is the value 2, and a went above x minus 2. So x minus 2. And then we're going to add on b, and b was the value 4 that went over x plus 3. So this here is our final answer. 2 over x minus 2 plus 4 over x plus 3. In the next case here, let's start to add our fractions together. So a over x is our first fraction. Add b over 2x plus 1. Add c over 3x minus 2. Now I'm going to jump a few stages here straight down to this one here. What you may start to notice is that whatever fraction you've got on the bottom of your a term here, you want all the terms apart from the x minus 2 term. So in this case here, I'm going to have minus 10x squared minus 8x plus 2 equal to a times by 2x plus 1 3x minus 2, add b lots of x 3x minus 2, add c x 2x plus 1. Okay, now it's our turn to substitute in sneaky values of x. So what can I do to substitute and make some of the brackets equal to 0? The easiest one would probably be 0. Because I've got an x term on its own, and the only way I can make that 0 is by making x 0. So in this case here, I'm going to get a 2, and this b term is going to disappear, the c term is going to disappear, so I've only got the a term left. And in this case, I'm going to get minus 2a by substituting in 0 here and 0 here, so a is equal to minus 1. Now are the slightly more difficult values of x. Let's have a look at the 2x plus 1 bracket. In this case, I need x to be minus a half to make this bracket equal to 0. So in this case here, I'm going to use my calculator just so I don't go wrong at any stage. I'm going to set up a minus 10 answer squared minus 8 answer plus 2, and then set my answer equal to minus 0.5. And then use that calculation, I get 7 over 2. So 7 over 2 should be what you get on the left-hand side when you plug in minus a half. Okay, And then on the right hand side, the A bracket would disappear, the B bracket will still be alive. So I'm going to need to calculate this. In the first case, it's going to be minus a half, and then I'm going to need to times that by 3 times minus a half, so that would be minus 3 over 2 minus another 2, so that would be minus 7 over 2. And that will be times by B as well. So in this case here, if I times through by 4 and divide through by 7, double negatives will cancel each other out. I get B equals 2. And in the final case here, we're going to need the 3x minus 2 bracket to equal 0. So I need x to be 2/3. Okay, so substituting in 2/3 onto the left-hand side, wow, and I get minus 70 over 9. Geez, it's a bit big. The A term will disappear, the B term will disappear, so I've only got my C term left. So it's going to be C times by 2/3 times 2 times 2/3 is 4/3, add 1, that's 7/3. Now if I take my minus 70 over 9 and divide by 14 over 9, I get C is minus 5. Okay, hopefully you got the same there. So therefore your final answer is going to be, A was the value that was over x, so it would be minus 1 over x, add 2 over 2x plus 1, minus, because C is a minus term, 5 over 3x minus 2. Okay, so I've used these values up here to know where my A, B and C needs to go on top of which fraction. Okay, so this is our final answer here. Right, so do pause the video and have lots of practice on exercise 1D then on page 11, please. This does take a lot of practice. When you get good, you can get quite fast at it, and make sure you're accurate at it as well. So do take some time to pause and practice this technique here. Alright then, thanks very much for watching.